Welcome back, everyone, to the Bears Papa Plays YouTube channel. Today is Tuesday, February 4th, and I'm back breaking down some more picks and props for college basketball. Before we get into the massive slate on Tuesday, which I think we're going to be breaking down 8 total plays, 5 game picks, 3 player props, let's talk about the games we had on Sunday. Illinois, down by 10 in the first quarter, down by 8 at half, find a way to come all the way back against Ohio State. They just dominated the second half. That's basically what it is. More energy, more hustle, more focus. Making shots. Ohio State just couldn't make a lot of shots in the second half, and we get the cover there. Minus 6.5 was the play. Loser, Seton Hall money line. I just took a shot in the dark. I thought it was going to be a decent game, and it was not. I hope nobody watched the game. It was 12-0 in the first 4 minutes. Seton Hall, I don't even know if Seton Hall got off a shot. It was just horrible passing, horrible turnovers, and just horrible gameplay all the way around from both sides. But this was not a fun game. This was not a good game to watch. And while Seton Hall did make a little bit of a comeback with like 4 minutes left, I think it was like a 12-point game. This game was really out of hand for most of the time. Seton Hall did cut up to like 4 or 5 points right before half, and they let up a big run before half. But just a bad game to watch. CJ Gunn was the winner on the player prop there. I think he scored 18 points for DePaul. So he had a good day for DePaul. And then the loser, Bruce Thornton, under his 16.5 points. I said he had to miss his threes. I think he hit 3 or 4 from the outside, and he did shoot quite a bit in this game. So I think he's finished with 20. Tough play with the under. That's usually why I don't take unders. I hate rooting for players to do poorly. So probably not going to take an under for a while. But 2-2 day, that's okay. Keeps us afloat for the bigger slates. And talk about bigger slates. It might be a weekday on Tuesday, but we have monster slate here. I'm going to go all the way back because I was getting ahead of myself there. But we have 5 games to break down. Marquette going in against St. John's, going to try to do them in all in like a minute each. But I like Marquette in this game against the spread. I think we're going to get some points in this game. Probably 2 or 3 is my guess. St. John's has been good all season long, have great defense, have a great offense, but these teams are very similar. And the only difference between these two teams is Marquette's coming off a loss at home going up against UConn. Lost that game by 8 points, and St. John's really hasn't played any very good opponents over the last several games. They haven't played a top 25 opponent all season long is what I'm – no, they've played one top 25 opponent against Baylor. That was November 21st. So they have not played a top 25 opponent in 2.5 months. So this is going to be their toughest test of the season so far because Baylor's not even that good. I think Marquette will stay in this game. I know it's on the road. I know it's St. John's. I know they're a very good team. I just think Marquette's better, and we're probably going to get a few points in this game. Give me Marquette against the spread as the play. Let's go to the next play here. Kentucky going up against Ole Miss. I've talked about these teams a lot. I'm going to talk about the SEC a lot this season because they have 10 teams in the top 25. How could I not talk about them? But Kentucky has lost 3 of the last 4 games. We're going to go back even further. They've lost 4 of the last 7. Ole Miss, they're kind of the same situation here. Lost 4 of the last 5. Every team in the SEC has to go through a gauntlet. Ole Miss is doing that right now. Played number 4 Alabama, number 15 Mississippi State, number 13 Texas A&M, number 22 Missouri, and number 1 Auburn. For Kentucky, they've played number 11 Texas A&M, number 14 Mississippi State, number 4 Alabama, number 8 Tennessee. Now they play number 23 Ole Miss. Then they have to play Tennessee again, who's now number 8. So all these teams in the SEC have to go through this kind of gauntlet. But I do think Kentucky, when all is said and done, even after they got their ass kicked at home against Arkansas, I still think Kentucky is the way better team in this matchup. I think Ole Miss is a good team. I just think Kentucky's a great team. The defense hasn't been great this season, but I do think Kentucky, with the offense that they have, finds a way to win this game on the road. They're probably going to get some points. I don't even want the points. I'm going to take Kentucky here on the money line as the play. For the third play today, sticking in the SEC, Vanderbilt, a team who's been talked about as finishing last in the SEC. Now they are top 25. Kind of spoiled that top 25 because they got their ass kicked by Oklahoma in their last game. But this is still a very good Vanderbilt team. I don't think it's going to matter. Florida, coming off one of their worst losses of the season against Tennessee. They beat Tennessee the first time by 30. They nearly lose to Tennessee the second time by 30. That just shows you in college basketball, any team can win on any night. It doesn't matter how good or how bad you are. Vanderbilt can beat the number 1 Auburn team on any given night. That's just what college basketball is. That's why it's so fun. That's why it's so enjoyable to watch. In the NFL, that doesn't really happen. The NBA, that doesn't really happen. In college basketball, it happens every single night. This is not going to be one of those games. I think Florida bounces back in a big way. They lost by 20 against Tennessee. Going to be back home in this game. Vanderbilt coming off a 30-point loss. I think they're going to be a little bit down. I think Florida has enough guys to bounce back in a big way. I'm going to take them to put up a big number in this game, cover the spread going up against Vanderbilt. For the next play tonight, Michigan State going up against UCLA. Michigan State takes one of their only losses on the season going up against USC. That was on the road for them. This is the number 7 ranked team in the country, and I think they actually might be 4. I don't know. My guess is 7. My initial thought was 7, so I'm going to stick with number 7 in the country. I don't see how we got there because they played in the Big Ten. Big Ten's a decent conference. They've only played 3 top 25 teams. They lost to Kansas. They beat North Carolina when they were the 12th seed, but we all know now North Carolina, not a very good team. They only won that game by 3 points in overtime. Then they beat Illinois at home by 2. So I'm not really seeing how Michigan State is a top-rated team this season. It's kind of like Purdue in a way. I don't think Purdue's very good either, and they're still top 10. So this game's got me kind of in a knot. I'm going to take UCLA. This was a team that couldn't get a win in the middle of the season. They lost 5 of 6 games between December and January 13th. They're now on a 5-game winning streak. They've taken down 2 top 25 teams at home. This is going to be another top 25 team they take down at home. They beat Oregon and Wisconsin at home this season over the last week and a half. Michigan State's going down in this game, taking UCLA on the money line as the play. For the last play of the day, Arizona, a team I absolutely despise, going up against BYU, another team I really don't like. And we're going to be taking the Cougars here on the money line. Arizona's kind of got lucky over the last couple games. Had a game against Arizona State. Caleb Love scored 27 points. Caleb Love now scored 20-plus points. And I think 3 of the last 4 games. That's kind of wild because he really hasn't been that good on the season as a whole. But Arizona's been kind of getting lucky ever since they hit that, 60-footer by Caleb Love and against Iowa State, and they won that game in overtime. Arizona State, poor officiating in that game. I saw they didn't even shake hands after the game, which – whatever. I mean, I kind of like it, but I kind of don't at the same time. It helps the rivalry out a little bit, but just shake hands. You lost by 9 points. It's not like it was a 1-point game. You got screwed on the bad call. But I don't think Arizona's that good anyway. BYU's been a team that I've been watching all season long. I don't like them whatsoever, but in the Big 12, I like to watch those opponents because I'm a Kansas Jayhawks fan. But they've won 4 consecutive games. Colorado, Cincinnati, Baylor, UCF. Nobody very good. Baylor's probably the best team out of that bunch, but I think they beat Arizona here at home. BYU's got a ton of 3-point shooters. We're going to be talking about one of them for my player prop today. But I think BYU's a good team. I think they take care of business here at home. I'm going to take them on the money line to win this game going up against Arizona. Let's go take a look at those player props for tomorrow. We're going to start with Richie Sanders, going to stay in the same game here. 15.4 points per game, and he's a 3-point shooter. He's taken 6 3-pointers in 4 of the last 5 games. He's coming off a game against UCF. He made 6 from the outside, scored himself 22 points. He's gone over 17-plus points in 4 consecutive games. This is a game against Arizona, where Arizona's been decent this season, but they have been known to give up 80-plus points on any given night. I think this will be a high-scoring game. I'm going to go with Sanders, their best player on the floor. He's going to shoot the ball 15, 20 times in this game, and I'm going to enjoy every second of it as it goes way over the total here of probably 14.5 would be my guess for the next player prop. Give me Jackson Robinson, Kentucky. This is another guy. I'm just taking 3-point shooters apparently all of a sudden. This is another 3-point guy. He's for Kentucky. He really doesn't go out there and shoot a lot of twos. He's just basically camping on the outside, which I kind of like. But they need a guy on the road going up against Ole Miss to knock down them threes, and he's already done that this season going up against Tennessee, 4 of 9 from deep, going up against Vanderbilt, 3 of 5 from deep, going up against Mississippi State, 7 of 10 from deep. All those games have in common, they were all on the road. We definitely can get the job done on the road here. He has shown it over the last 3 games. He has scored 17-plus points in 3 of the last 5 games as well. This one's probably going to be 13.5 is my guess, going up against Ole Miss, and he has been kind of the go-to guy offensively, even though he's been looked at as a spark guy coming off the bench early than starting. He is kind of the go-to guy right now, especially from the outside. So I'm going to take his over total points going up against Ole Miss as the play. And for the last play of the day, Mr. Senior. Mr. What can you do for me, Cam Jones? Marquette going up against St. John's. Talked about the game. I think it will be a good game. I think Marquette will find a way to win this game on the road here. But Cam Jones, you got to find a way to lift your team to a win. Coming off a kind of a bad loss going up against UConn. They were minus 6.5 in that game at home, lost by 8. If you watched the game, really were never in it. They were down by double digits for most of the game. 22 points in that one. He has scored 15-plus points in 5 consecutive games. St. John's on paper a good defense, but we know these teams, they can either be in a 60-62 game or an 85-87 game. I think it's going to be more on the 80-ish side game in this one, and I'm going to take his over total points. The senior's got to find a way to be the scoring production for Marquette in this one. Marquette typically has a ton of scores. Tyler Collect from last season with Cam Jones. They really don't have another guy besides Cam Jones. I mean, Joplin's been decent from the outside, but They need Cam Jones to come up big in this game for them to win this one on the road. I'm going to take him over his total points. I think he is ready for the big moment. He's a senior. He's been here before. Give me his over total points as the final play of the day. Let's go to the recap graphic. We have a ton of things to look at. We are going to start with Marquette. We're going to take them against the spread. I do think we're going to get a couple points. I would take them on the money line, but just to be safe on the road, we should always just take the points as the play. Florida against the spread. I think this one could be minus 10 plus, but we'll see what it comes out at. I'm very confident in that Florida pick. Kentucky, I'm going to take them against the spread. Apparently, I want them on the money line, but again, the smart play to do when you're trying to make money, just take them with the points. I do think they're going to probably get a couple points here on the road, so we'll take the points. BYU on the money line, they will probably be the underdog at home. I don't care. I think BYU is a better team in that matchup. Same thing here. UCLA, I'm going to take them at home on the money line. Michigan State's only played 3 top 25 teams, lost to Kansas, barely beat UNC, and then beat Illinois by 2 points. So I'm not really seeing where the Michigan State hype is at. So we're just going to treat them like Purdue. I'm going to take UCLA on the money line. Cam Jones over his total points. My guess is 18.5 going up against St. John's. Richie Saunders over his total points. Guess is 15.5 going up against Arizona. And then another 3-point guy, Jackson Robinson, over his total points. Guess on that one is probably 13.5 or 14.5 going up against Ole Miss. But guys, it's going to do it. The NCAA basketball plays and props for Tuesday, February 4th slated games. If you guys enjoyed the content, please sure drop a like this video and subscribe channel below. See you guys next video, and thanks for watching.